I believe that business is personal and that there's a real human behind the masks we put on to be in business, especially as women. We have to walk into rooms and man up in the corporate world, in the business world. And I was really encouraging everyone to let go of those masks and truly get to know each other. And it created such a beautiful energy and a beautiful space. Everyone in the room was vibing on this. And then someone came in who had manipulative tactics and intentions that were not in everyone's best interest.
What a prime breeding ground for a toxic
yeah.
person to come in. Being a heart-centered entrepreneur isn't just about passion, purpose, or making an impact. It's also about navigating the painful, lonely, and downright shitty moments that no one talks about. The betrayals, the self-doubt, the people you poured into who disappeared when you needed them the most, the moments where you wonder, is this all worth it? Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the raw, unfiltered reality of what it means to lead with heart in a world that doesn't always reciprocate. This conversation is for the entrepreneurs, the leaders, the ones who care deeply, sometimes to their own detriment. If you've ever felt unseen in your struggles, this episode will remind you that you're not alone. So I've brought on Arin Fugate to have this conversation. She is an expert at cultivating and curating communities. She is a heart-led networking expert and has done such a phenomenal job of being able to have people feel so seen and heard in these safe spaces, which normally can feel transactional when people do typical types of networking. She's also a top 1% network marketer in the world. And that wasn't just like one hot year that she had. She has done this year over year over year over year. And that is a testament to the community that she has built. And she's also gone through some really painfully disruptive stuff. And she's going to share her story and take a look at it, in retrospect of what red flags that she missed and discussing her part in it and the other person's part in it. Plus, I'm also sharing in this episode some stuff that I've gone through and realizations I've had so that you can feel less alone in it, but also learn how to protect yourself going forward. And you can then really make sure that you have guardrails up to protect not only yourself and your heart, but your communities that you're building right now. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your relationships, your abundance, and everything in between. We have officially kicked off the season of guest interviews on the pod. I have been avoiding this for a long time. We are going to get into it on this episode as it relates to the topic today. And I brought on a friend of mine who is exceptional at networking, and she does it in a different way. The only possible way I could consider doing it as an introvert. She does it from her heart, and she is a master at it truly of bringing people together. And she has taught in my mastermind before, and she's part of my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership. And it's so obvious when Arin is speaking, when she's interacting, that it's heart-led, that it's genuine, that it's safe, and it's so beautiful. And then there's another side to it that we're going to get into on what happens when you are that type of person, when you are genuine, when you do care, when you're not like this business person who's like made of steel and is all about the money and like can just, step over people and not really care and fall asleep at night. Like when you're someone who is in all the feels and you really are passionate about what you do, there's other stuff that comes with it that if we don't manage or set boundaries around, the cost becomes very high and it's ugly. And both Arin and I got really whacked with it on another level over the last several months. And we both decided like we needed to bring it to the people. So welcome, Arin. Thank you for being willing to come on and talk about something that no one really talks about publicly. And I have my opinion on why it's not talked about publicly. Why do you think we don't hear all these women, men who have these big platforms terms, talking about some of this, like, I don't know what you want to call it, dark side, uglier side of being in business.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, as business owners, ultimately we're the one who signs the check and we're the ones that agree to whatever we let into our business. So if I let someone into my business or I hire the wrong person and it turns out badly, the shame. I am scared to then go and say, I made this mistake. I feel like it's my fault. I picked the wrong person. I fell for the fantasy marketing or whatever has happened. So, yeah, I think people just kind of go, oh, shoot, I spent that money on that person and it was a big mistake. And I'm just going to try to pick up the pieces and move on. But I'm not going to tell people I made that mistake because it's shameful.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people put the blame on themselves. Some people put the blame on everyone else. And, in a healthy way, we end up in the middle somewhere. We take accountability and also like address what is unacceptable behavior. And I feel like there is a lot of it going on at a big level where people, you think they're your friend, but they're using you for your community. They're using you for the audience you've built, your email list, your clout, who you know. And maybe it's been going on since the beginning of time, but I just feel like it's gotten so much worse. And it's especially bad amongst women, which really bothers me.
Yeah, well, a lot of women are nice. And it's hard for us to say no. And so even this will happen to me where I'll have somebody ask me for maybe access to my email list or to be able to promote in my Facebook group. And I know the answer is no, but I still will have that feeling of like, oh, you should be helpful, Arin. You should be like second guessing myself that my boundary or my no is somehow inappropriate. But what it really is that like nice girl inside of me that society or my upbringing has taught me to be giving and nice and accommodating creeps in. But it's like, no, you can't have my email list. No, you can't have my contacts. You can't post in my Facebook group. I mean, in the posse group, if somebody was just super promo-y in there, you're not
Well,
gonna
they
let
get kicked
them do it.
out. We've had this happen. We've actually had someone, and I actually think they listen to this show, so shout out to you. What they did is they're more clever about it. They went through each member and then private messaged the members on Facebook and solicited them that way.
Oh,
So it wasn't obvious to me. And then that was their MO. And then I found out they just joined other people's groups and memberships. And then that's how they actually got clients.
wow, that's a hustle. See, I don't even expect people to do that.
I don't either because you would never do it.
No, it's mind-boggling to me.
And it sounds like a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of work too. That somebody would come in purposely to go farm leads, will pay you. So they're paying you your subscription and they're going to go farm leads. Like it would never cross my mind to use that as a sales or marketing strategy.
Well, it's kind of like the people who will join even masterminds or traditional, like going to like networking events or chamber of commerce, or you see them going to all these things and they're just going there to see who they can meet, whose card they can get, what sales they can get. Can they get closer to this person? It's just, there's a digital form of it that's also going on. And you recently had some wildness happen with an in-person community that you have built up and nurtured over time that you didn't see coming. And I think that is what is the most painful for us, is like, we know that there's scams out there. Like, we're not that naive, obviously. Like, we know there's people like that and people who spam people, and you can see those people coming in person or online. It's the covert people that really spin me, and I know you, for a loop, because I think that's where also the shame comes in. Like, I should have seen it. How didn't I see that? I should have protected my group. Oh my gosh, like, I actually really liked this person, and how could they do that? It's like, it's so shocking. It's such a betrayal to you as the facilitator, but it's also betraying your business, which, when you're a small business owner, that's your baby. So it's like a double betrayal.
And there's signs to look for that I wouldn't have known if I hadn't gone through this experience, that I think business owners really need to be aware of, especially if you're creating a community.
Okay,
Because
well, first we want to know the story, and then you have to say the signs because I have a pen and paper and I will be writing them down.
so I stumbled upon this beautiful community. I started going as a member. It's a networking group that meets in person once a month. And it was really important to me when I started going because it was the end of the pandemic and I had a brand new baby. And as a business owner and someone who likes to network, being stuck in my house, nursing a baby, and like the government saying you can't go anywhere was absolutely crushing my soul. So I found this women's only networking group. And it was so much more than a networking group. It was really about true, authentic relationships. And I loved it. And I went every single month. And pretty soon, the leader of the group didn't want to do it anymore. She came to me and she said, "You have leadership skills. You come to this group. Can you just take it over and run with it?" And I was like, no, 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 I can't. She asked me so many times, and the group was starting to dwindle. I could see what was happening without leadership. And so I finally went, yeah, I'm going to take it over. I'm going to do it. And I'm so glad I did because it just started to expand and expand and expand. Our events were first 20 people, and then the next month it would be 40, and then 50, and then 60. And this last time I maxed out at 90 people.
Oh my God.
And every month it was new women and interesting women. And it was attracting this vibe that I had not seen anywhere else. It was like all the women, not only business owners, we have entrepreneurs, business owners, corporate women, women who want to start a business, and they're just looking for friendships with women who get it. Like when you're an entrepreneur and you try to be friends with someone who has a 9 to 5, or as a woman, someone who's maybe a stay-at-home mom, they don't understand your drive. And so these women were just coming out of the woodworks, and I was like, this is amazing. This is so cool. And up until that point, I was like taking registration over Venmo. Like I was not taking it seriously, right? I didn't have a website. It just was this beautiful organic thing that was flowing. And a woman came into the group. Okay. Clue number 1, super charismatic.
But you guys, if you're watching on Project Me TV on YouTube, I literally have a Sharpie in my hand and I just
Write
like
it down.
dramatically took the cover off. Okay, go ahead. Charismatic.
Super charismatic. Like she walked into the room and it felt like she knew everyone, which that's a beautiful skill to have.
But you mean some other level of charisma, right? Because I see you as being charismatic. I'd like to think I'm a little charismatic. So, what do you mean, like charismatic on steroids?
It only is a bad thing once she started to use it towards her gain instead of others.
Okay. The Project Me Posse isn't just another membership. This is where you are getting proven money making strategy with the power of manifestation. This isn't where there's thousands and thousands of people and a membership that you never use and then you forget to cancel it on your credit card bill. This is somewhere for you to go to every week for live trainings and a place to go to for community and support, because success isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become along the way. So inside, yes, you're going to get step-by-step business strategies that actually work and mindset shifts to attract more abundance into your life. No more hustling in circles or hoping things will click. This is a space where clarity, strategy, and aligned action turn into real cash flow. We have opened the doors to new members right now. I would not wait because these fill up quickly anytime we open these up. And the wild thing is, by the way, the posse is $3.33 a day. If you choose the annual option, which is our most popular option, it ends up being like $2 a day. This is a no-brainer, and people regularly say this is the most valued piece of coaching that you can find on the interwebs. And they say that after every single training. Like, I would have paid thousands of dollars for this, and you're getting it at a fraction of the cost. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. You can swipe up. The link to join is right here in the show notes or in the description on YouTube at Project Me TV. Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, watch out for super charismatic people. It's just
Fair.
like when a guy is, you're dating and that you're like, oh, that guy is,
Yeah,
he's
like he's
cool.
being like super love bomby, but it's not necessarily love bombing. You don't know, but your spidey senses should be up.
Your spidey senses should be up. And then from there, she showed a lot of interest in me and what I was doing and the community. And she positioned herself as a business consultant, and she started to ask me how she could help me. And I was grateful, of
Like for
course,
free?
for free.
That's a
Yeah,
red flag.
red flag, right? Why would you want to just come and help me? But it was confusing because in our community, we are collaborative. People are helpful. There is peer to peer type mentorship. But yeah, I guess that's clue number two. Everybody has to get paid. And if
In
someone is
some way.
in some way. And there's a difference between being a little helpful. Like, I'm sure if you were sitting down to coffee with someone, you might give them a tip or two or ask them some questions because you're a coach. You can't help it, but you're not going to treat them like your client.
Right.
So it was, in retrospect, she was way up in my grill in a very interested way. And I should have been like, I wonder why she's so interested. But again, I wasn't taking it seriously. It was just a cool group of people. I didn't know this precious thing that I had. And then from there, she did finally pitch me. And her pitch was about collaboration and doing a program together. And her pitch was more sneaky, like other ways of kind of coming in and being more of my business partner. There was even a moment where I said, do you want to be my business partner? Because it really sounds like that's what you're trying to do. And then from there, it was a very slippery slope where before I knew it, I was taking advice from her that took the community in the completely wrong direction. We did a program together that absolutely fell apart because of her way that she was interacting with people in side conversations. And so that's another red flag. Like you're saying in the posse, if people do this thing called a side conversation where, they're having a chat with you, but then they're going and taking that information to another conversation, it's different than just gossip, especially in business. It's more manipulative because the narrative can be formed in a certain way by this very tricky, charismatic person.
Yeah, especially if the side conversation doesn't align with the values of the actual like business or program. Because you have no idea. You're not privy to what's being said in the side conversation. My guess is you didn't know, right? That there were all these side conversations. Yeah.
I had no idea. Absolutely. So when it all finally fell apart and I was able to start to piece everything back together, what I also realized that she did is she used social clout in a manipulative way. So because she walks into a room and she's very charismatic and it seems like everybody knows her, many of us in the community thought that everybody else knew her really well. So she actually gained clients based off of people thinking that she was well known and well liked and vouched for.
Isn't that fascinating that someone can actually manipulate with their own energy, even, and how they're even carrying themselves? And then we can, as humans, fill in the blanks with assumptions, right? Because that's an assumption.
We absolutely make assumptions. And this is a problem in networking too, which is in most traditional networking, you don't actually know people that well.
Fair, like dating.
Like dating, you don't. You go to a networking event, you trade business cards, maybe you have coffee, and that's as deep as it goes. You don't know who they're married to. You don't know their background. You don't really know them. As long as they take care of the client, cool, and you feel good referring them. But I created a community where I was encouraging people to truly get to know each other.
Because this is your different way of how you network. You have a heart-based networking strategy, so to speak, not like strategy in like a manipulative way. And you come at it from a genuine way versus what can I get from you? It's like, no, let's actually like truly get to really know each other, like not just surface level transactional shit.
Yeah, I believe that business is personal and that there's a real human behind the masks we put on to be in business, especially as women. We have to walk into rooms and man up in the corporate world, in the business world. And I was really encouraging everyone to let go of those masks and truly get to know each other. And it created such a beautiful energy and a beautiful space. So it was like everyone in the room was vibing on this. And then someone came in who had manipulative tactics and intentions that were not in everyone's best interest.
What a prime breeding ground for a
Oh, yeah.
toxic person to come in.
Oh, yeah. And it's heartbreaking. It's still heartbreaking. I'm still picking up the pieces and refining what we're about and how we heal from this. And so much could have been avoided if I had first just believed in myself enough so that I didn't fall for someone telling me that they had the answer, some answer that I don't have.
Do you feel that whatever position you were emotionally, mentally, that there was something that made you a little more susceptible at that time for this type of person to come in?
Yes, absolutely. I am at a crossroads in my career. And you know a little bit about this, but I'm in a space where I'm asking myself, I'm 48 years old. I've done something for the last 17 years. And what do I want to do for the next half of my life? So I was in a very open space. I believe that I'm guided by source or universe or God or whatever you want to call it. And I thought I was in a safe container. And I was just super, super open, which I want to maintain that. But now going forward, as the leader of the community, I actually am not in the safe container. I'm creating the safe container.
That is a big differentiator.
It's a big difference. And that is the weight of leadership that maybe I wasn't completely cognizant of or hadn't completely agreed to necessarily.
I think that it would be helpful to further define what that means to you of being the leader, the facilitator of a safe community versus having the community and being a part of it.
Yes. And how do you know when you're walking into a community that it is a safe community? And recognizing that when I walk into a space, there has to be someone who's holding that space or a group of people.
And do you believe that the person who is holding the space, the facilitator, the leader, do you believe that that person also can't be in it? And I don't mean like not caring. You can't be a participant while being a leader.
This is a conundrum that I've been trying to figure out for a long time because I've been in a community that fell apart because the leader realized she wanted to be in the community. And she actually recognized that she didn't feel like she could be both. And
I would say in business, in my opinion, you can partake, but I do not feel it is smart for the greater good of the group to be a participant. Try to be a participant and a leader in the business sense, not like in a recovery meeting or, or like a Bible study necessarily, or something like that.
So the question then is, which I agree with you, and that's one of the reasons I'm in the posse, because if I'm holding space for a community, yet I don't have the community to be in, my well's going to run dry.
That's such a great point. And that's also why I'm in communities I'm in where I can truly receive. There is no expectation of me to protect the group, to facilitate. I don't have that responsibility. I'm there to receive. So that's interesting. So that's what you do on the business side coming into the posse.
Yes, because I need to be in a space where I'm held and I'm among my peers and people who understand, get your ass kicked as a business owner. And it's beautiful ups and downs, but if you don't have that community around you supporting you and holding your back and being like, yeah, I know what that's like, or here's what happened when that happened to me, you're going to burn out 100%.
It's not even it's like literally not, it's not doable. You'll end up in a fetal position, quitting, sick, because you do get knocked around, and people who are empaths, highly sensitive, intuitives, your heart gets knocked around.
It really does. I mean, my heart is so open and in a place of truly wanting to uplift women and create safe spaces for them that I'm almost more susceptible to this type of thing. And I have to put in place buffers and almost filters so that it's not so easy for people to come and take advantage of that.
What do you think it was? I know your background story, and there's another episode with Arin on it. You can hear like in full detail the full story. Like she was like in a cult. There's a whole story there. But I do think it's important to touch on your history of our childhoods, even though you've done so much healing work and all the things. There's a childhood imprint in there of trauma that does make you more susceptible to just not being able to necessarily see the red flags right away. Or, and I can say we here because we're both trauma survivors, or we paint them a different color. I'll paint red flags even green sometimes. That's not a red flag. It's actually green.
Nope.
It's
Well,
like,
I
what?
mean, I actually feel more comfortable around that type of personality. Even now, even though I've been so hurt by her and she's done so much damage, there's still a part of me that misses her in my life.
I get that. And I appreciate that honesty. There's a couple people that you know of that I have actually thought about lately because I have removed literally, you guys, I've done a major next level sweep. There's not that many people who made the cut, like they had to go. And because now I have space and peace, I notice that's coming up of maybe I should reach out to them. It's like tickling.
Yep.
And then it's like, yeah, there's a lot of messed up stuff, but like maybe there's been growth.
Yep.
Now, thankfully, I know I have guardrails up to know not to do that. But that's interesting that you mentioned that that's coming up. What is it that you miss?
It's something about being seen. It's really dark and twisted. It's like my abusers that I've had in my life. There's a level of intimacy and understanding that, and it's probably like trauma bonding, that I haven't been able to feel in other situations in my life. And I know that it's dark and it's twisted, but I think it's because my early caregivers were such absolutely insane, abusive people that my nervous system was trained to know how to survive and be comfortable around that type of personality. So it feels like home.
And when someone who is, let's say, narcissistic, sociopathic, has those kinds of traits, when you are their supply, man, is that one of the best fucking highs that there is. But it's like, it's a sick, dysfunctional, not a good high that you want. But you and I were both exposed to that high from our inner drugstore so young that when we do experience that, there is a giddiness to it. My inner child actually quite likes it.
Yes. I mean, the rest of life, when things are calm and comfortable and I'm in my healed persona, it's boring kind of.
Yeah.
System, which is the goal. I'm trying to get myself to be calm and peaceful. But yeah, I crave the excitement. I crave the personality that's dynamic and it gives me all the attention and that my dark sense of humor can come out with. Not many people can really go there with my particular type of humor.
Well, it's welcomed here.
Thank goodness we have each other. But it's just that feeling of like, what I can relate it to is back in my party days when I was living in LA and I was a party girl. I felt this way when I was managing a circus in downtown LA.
Wait,
Did you not
like
know
for
this?
real?
For real.
You literally were a circus manager.
Yes.
I'm dead. Okay, go ahead.
And the people that were attracted to, and I'm talking about like, like Burning Man circus and fire eaters and hoop dancers, the people that are attracted to that kind of thing, like the 20, 30-year-olds that run away with the circus, they're a little messed up. Like they've got some issues. And I felt so comfortable in that environment and I thrived in that environment. And it was so curious to me as I kind of pulled myself up and out of that and changed my life of why do I feel the most comfortable around the ones that are the freaks? the mentally ill, the disturbed. And of course, it goes back to my childhood and my caretakers. And still to this day, I really can understand these people that have, the narcissist personalities. I get them and I have love for them and I have to protect myself from them because it is a dangerous, dangerous thing for me.
And how are you going to protect yourself going forward from these kinds of people? Because there's some stat, and I should have looked it up prior to the show. I meant to, and I didn't. And my therapist told me, and I was so shocked. And I have a great therapist. And if she's listening, I'm sorry. But like, I was so shocked that I didn't believe her. And I went to like fact check it, and it was accurate. It's something crazy. Like, there's 30% of people have either strong narcissistic traits or are narcissists.
No.
Like, not diagnosed narcissists, but they have like strong traits. Like, they are among us.
They are among us. And they're manipulative and they are looking for their fix. And they can smell someone like me. Like, they can pick me out of a crowd in a room. And so my therapist is really encouraging me, and what I've committed to myself is I am not allowed to jump into a relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, a business relationship, a collaboration. I have to slow down and take time. And I've actually given myself 12 months. Like, I need to know someone for 12 months and see their ups and downs through that time with little bits of communication, not oversharing. That's something I'm looking for, is someone who tells me a bit about their life, but they don't overshare and trauma dump on me. And I'm not allowing myself to get into these deep relationships without that time going by, because I know enough that I am quick to love and trust and be open. And mostly I'm working to fortify my own belief in myself that I have the answers, and that I am smart enough and I am skilled enough, and not falling for that love bombing that happens. That's really what it is, recognizing the love bombing.
What was the fantasy that maybe your inner child or inner teenager was coming up with about this woman that made you feel good about doing a co-program with her that quickly, like someone you didn't know well? There had to be some kind of fantasy thinking around it.
Yeah, my fantasy thinking was that she knew the pathway for me to turn this hobby into a full business, which is so funny because I've been in business for a long time, that somehow I didn't know how to do it.
That's
And
fascinating. I mean, you've turned essential oils into a very lucrative business. Like, you already knew how to do it.
I already knew how to do it, but I think there's a part of me, my inner child wants mom to come home and cook dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see it being like, it's going to happen easier. It's going to be faster. I don't have to do it alone.
I don't have to
And
do it alone.
entrepreneurship, my Lord, does that, especially, you guys, the more successful you get, and it gets even more isolating and more lonely, but it also gets more rewarding at the same time. It's really a mind fuck. I could see how if someone played a chord, which they have, wow, this conversation's really unveiling a lot for me. And I'm sure people listening too, or at least I hope so. You guys, take a screenshot of this episode and share it on social media and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. And I'll make sure I tag Arin and re-share your posts so we know, like, if you found this really helpful, because I know we're going deep here. But if someone came after that, you don't have to do this alone. I've got you.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that people use on me, and it's not just personally, it's what's interesting is personally, I have pretty solid boundaries. It's when it morphs into the business, which also ends up being personal, because when you own a business, it is part of your life. It is intertwined. And it is always someone kind of posing as family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm your little sister. I'm your older sister. I am mom. I'm dad. There's definitely a component where it's like, oh, I have someone who's like in it with me to share, the pressure and the stress and the highs and the lows. And oh, it feels so good. It's like my inner child gets like a sense of relief and excitement.
Yep, that's 100% what it is. It's I feel alone in a lot of ways. As a high achiever, as a successful businesswoman, often people say they can't keep up with me. I often overwhelm people. I'm in the company that I've been with essential oils, I'm in the top 1%.
In the world, mind
In the
you.
world, yes.
She like really understates her success, which I love reminding her of these things, like literally in the world for years, not like one hot year.
For years and years. So I'm often in a leadership position. And as we're unpacking in this call, that's a lonely place to be. And so when this woman came into my life and we would have conversations like, wow, nobody's ever been able to keep up with me before. Wow, you get so much done. You're just like me. Like this is the banter.
Like celebrated that about you versus kind of like envious about it.
Or judging it.
Yeah.
She championed and celebrated the parts of my personality that don't often get recognized in a kind way.
I had to take you out of the interview just for a moment because I know that you are feeling how this conversation is and you're craving more of that for your own life, for your own business. And this is exactly why I created the Project Me Posse business coaching membership. We have weekly live trainings, there's experiences. We're working not just on the business, but we're working on ourselves within the business. And I do lead a lot of those live trainings, and I also bring in incredible experts on a variety of all spaces. You get unlimited access to well over 350 live trainings, courses, workshops, and master classes. And really the part that people love the most is the community of people in there, the rapport, the genuineness, because like attracts like. So if you're enjoying this conversation and this type of energy, that's exactly what you're going to get inside the Posse membership, where Arin is a member and obviously I'm a facilitator. We would love to have you. We have opened up new membership spots right now. So you're going to want to swipe up, go in the show notes and go to projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. The link is also in my bio on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany, and it's here in the description on YouTube as well. Don't wait on that. We keep this membership capped at an intimate size so that I can, in integrity, refer to it as a group coaching membership. So it's not like one of those memberships where there's thousands and thousands of people and you never really connect with anyone because everyone feels like a stranger. That's not what we do here. This is something extra special, and you can go see for yourself. I have a month-to-month option, and then there's also an annual option, which is our most popular option. And all that info is on the page, projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. See you in there.
And so it was like, oh, I have a partner. I have somebody who gets me and wants to go for, the distance here. I fell for it big time.
Do you feel that you have a tendency to jump in fast with the people who have some of these toxic traits or resemble perpetrators from your childhood, and then the people who are the safe people, you don't lean in as much into?
Yes, absolutely. And I've been really working on that this year.
Well, you and I do the same thing, and that's why I can say it. In fact, let's be honest, we do it with each other.
Absolutely.
And I know you're a safe person, but I also know what we're both doing. Like, I'm not mad at you about it. Like, I get it. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It's sad because I shouldn't speak for you. I don't feel like I'm unworthy of that. I know I'm worthy of it, and I know I'm a solid as fuck, like, friend and person. I know that there's something much deeper rooted in childhood around it, and I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I've been contemplating it lately because now I have kids. And when I was a kid, I had lived in 11 different houses by the time I was 11. And my kids were born in this house. They're probably, I'm going to die in this house. Like, it's such a completely different reality. And what I'm noticing is putting down roots is how you create strong friendships. And I was so used to pulling up my roots and starting over that I never really learned or experienced what it's like to have a friendship that grows over time and is truly there for you. So I don't think that I've really believed that that's possible. So then I choose people who resemble more of what I'm used to because I know how to survive that. I don't know if I can actually survive a real, true friend choosing to leave me one day.
Ooh.
And that's like the true raw pain of it.
But would a real true friend leave you? I mean, they might leave this earth, but would they leave you?
Well, I don't know. That's the big risk that has to be taken, that I'm up for taking at this part of my life, is like, what does it feel like to have someone in your life that you've cultivated a friendship with and you're really there for each other? And I think maybe this is something that we have in common, which is like we crave that because of our childhood, that feeling of family. I feel kind of like it's a muscle that hasn't been worked. I don't know how to create a friendship like that, but I want it so badly.
I think that there are so many people resonating with this, even when I am on TikTok or in some of my like narcissist survivor groups in like the chat rooms and stuff, the countless amounts of women who are craving genuine, solid, supportive, fun female friendships, and the amount of loneliness, it's like literally an epidemic.
It is. It is.
We can all feel so alone in it. Like there's been a sense of shame in the fact that I had people like you who in business, which also crossed over into personal, I genuinely thought these people were supporters, were cheerleaders, like really cared about me. And this wasn't like just over a couple months of observation and experience. This was, I would say, if we were to give an average, a year and a half, 2 years, I don't think that's like too short of a time. And sucks when you're wrong. And I also think that as we grow and evolve, and maybe the other people haven't, that can be triggering. Or as a relationship deepens, other people who have their own like intimacy issues, it's too much for them and they sabotage it. You know, like they can't receive that kind of love and loyalty that I know for a fact, like you provide and I provide. Like we're very grounded, stable, dependable people. And there's a lot of people, they don't have that.
Mhm.
They've not experienced that. And they go into their avoidant personality and they avoid. And then I end up subconsciously picking people who to recreate abandonment, who end up leaving when I reach more success. I mean, last year, you know, was going mega viral every day. Like it was wildness, and like most successful year in terms of like financially and even like, I guess you could say visibility or whatnot. And these people who I thought would be happy for me or supporters, they actually resented me. And I could feel it as an empath. I could, but as a trauma survivor, I didn't want that to be true because that would mean that wouldn't be good. Now I lose people that either work for me that I cared about, that were close to me that I cared about, people I referred a shit ton of clients to that I trusted my clients with. You know, that would mean a lot of things. So I then would do a whole gaslighting on myself. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm reading into this. Maybe I'm a narcissist. I mean, like, I was like,
yeah, I've had that one.
I was like, maybe I'm the narcissist.
How do you know if you're a narcissist?
Well, and that's clue number one. A narcissist would never look that up. I'm like, ChatGPT, am I a narcissist? Let's list out all the traits. A narcissist literally would never do that. And I did not want to believe that to be true about people. Like, you didn't want this to be true about this business partner of yours, because if that's true, I trusted another person I shouldn't have trusted.
Right. Where is the roadmap to learn how to find and cultivate friendships that you can trust? I have no idea. I feel like a preschooler in that area of life. I feel so awkward. I'm like, I want to be your friend.
I feel that way now too. I didn't until the last 5 months when I actually thought I had this shit down. I really thought I had it down, and I was wrong. And I do believe that, you know, that expression, like people are in your life for a reason, season, or a lifetime. Like some people aren't meant for the whole train ride, but I don't like that.
No, I don't either. And
that's not fun for me.
It's not fun for me. And my inner child doesn't like it. And this is where we get to go, well, actually, I can survive someone leaving me. I can survive someone letting me down. And I can't control what anybody else does. I can only control what I do. And so that hope, I recognize that like that hope for me to find people in my life that are totally safe and will never let me down is maybe an unrealistic desire.
I
Because
do
that's,
think we will all let each other down at some point because we're human beings. I think it's a matter of like, is the person safe? And this is business or personal. Is the person safe where we feel we can go to and say, this really hurt me when this happened. This
yeah,
triggered me when this happened. And the person take accountability while hearing, and you can have like an actual conversation from it and then not both go into avoidance afterwards.
yeah. And this is why I think you take a year. It doesn't mean that that year isn't spent hanging out, going out to dinner, doing activities with each other, but it's a year where you're noticing, or I'm noticing, what happens when I bring them feedback? What happens when I have something I'm upset about? How do they act when I'm doing really great in my life? And how do they
That's
act?
a real good one, you guys. Because you know what? A lot of mofos will be there when you're having a hard time.
Yeah.
Strangers, in fact. But
Yeah. There's some
women,
people that
women
only,
especially get, I feel, can get real squirrely around success.
yes, they can. Very much so.
And that success doesn't just mean money. It could be maybe you've gotten super fit, or you have an incredible marriage, or, you just built your dream house, or, there's some weird shit that happens.
What is your favorite way for someone to celebrate you when you're having success?
God, that's a great question. I would say that I like it to be acknowledged, my work, like what it took. Like, I see you. Like, those are the messages and emails and stuff I get from people where they're like, I know for you to even show up every day to even be alive in this world, like you have to work at that by itself. And the fact that you've done this on top of it, like, I see you, sis. Like, that goes a long way.
Yeah, I can see how that important that is. It feels so good to be seen, and not just, the surface thing that someone will say is like, "Oh, wow, your business is doing really good." And I'm
I
like,
don't.
"Oh."
Yeah.
No.
Or the people who randomly throw a text out when you're having a launch or you have one of your big events, and they go, how is your blank event going? How's your launch going? That's like someone going, how much did your house sell for? It's,
Yep.
I don't like it. That's a red flag to me.
That is absolutely a red flag. And you're right. I love it when someone says, I love it when someone sees something about me that I'm not shouting out to the rooftops. When somebody, yeah, recognizes that, yeah, I struggle as a mom. I have 2 kids and I struggle with that and still showing up. Or I struggle with mental health, or I struggle with the things that are going on behind the scenes that you would only know if you took the time to ask me some questions and spend some time with me. When someone recognizes that, I had a girlfriend recently say that she recognized how courageous I am.
What a great word.
It felt so good, and that she had watched me navigate some of these things and she saw how much courage.
I second that. You handled this situation beautifully. Like, you guys, this was in person, okay? It's not like it would be hard enough behind a screen. You had to go and face the people of your group that you've cultivated and nurtured that felt betrayed by you because of this person, and you had to go into the lion's den. I would have done it as well because I'm a professional person, but I would have been blacked out dissociated. I would have been like, I don't think I would have been still recovered. Like that's brutal. And I believe that happened for some greater cause. Why do you think that went down the way it did? Do you believe like there was a greater purpose behind it?
This experience has made me struggle with that belief, because I have always believed that things are happening for us, not to us. And through this experience, I've had many nights where I've put my hands up and gone, there can't be a higher power, a loving higher power that would allow this to happen to me. Yet, what I notice about myself is that the strength that I've been able to cultivate and the clarity that I have around this community, that I'm creating and holding space for is like a tonality that never existed before this experience. So regardless if it was some higher purpose or the universe, it doesn't actually matter, because the prize is who I am now and the strength that I've cultivated and the self-trust and the willingness to like be so open and honest, and to know that I could survive something like that. That's the reason that it's happened. And I think that that's a gift, no matter who sent it.
It sucks, but there is a gift of resilience in that. And I've struggled with the same thing. Like, not why me, like victimy, but like really more shit. Like, how much more do you need to have someone go through? Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm already resilient. Like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I don't think we have to necessarily know why something happens in a relationship dynamic at the moment. We might find out later, like the whole more will be revealed.
It will.
I don't fully know why. I'm just choosing to trust there has to be a greater purpose. Maybe one of the purposes was you and I bringing this conversation to the entire world for all the women and men as well who are sitting there feeling alone, betrayed by someone. Because there's nothing worse than a friendship betrayal or like a business partnership betrayal. It hits on a whole different level.
It really does, because you wouldn't get into relationship with someone that you didn't trust. It's a big decision to go into business with someone.
Well, because then it brings up like there's a whole money, energy, wounding component that also makes it even more sticky.
It's so sticky. And I don't want to shut down that side of myself. Like, I still want to collaborate and I still want to get into relationships. But it's so painful when you decide to trust someone and to have them betray you. It's one of the most painful things that I've experienced in my life, is those moments when I truly trusted and then I was betrayed. And then I had to own, how did I ignore those red flags? It's one
Yeah, we
thing.
have to own our part. I think like overly blaming ourselves, which I can tend to do because that's what happened to me in childhood, is, Tiffany's a bad girl. But we have to own our part, like kind of almost detach and look at it like as if it were a different person. Like, okay, like I can see where I miss that here. The part that I miss is it's hard for me to comprehend. I don't think, I know I'm going to sound like moderately nuts, but like, wouldn't you use someone for like clout or money or status or their audience who's like actually famous? Like, why would you do it with me? Like little old me. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think someone would do that with me. I would think they would do it with like someone like Alex Cooper, Call Her Daddy, or, someone with like a big, 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 super show or something like that. But your story goes to show you, right? Like these people will rob anybody.
Yeah. Well, it's because they can't create it themselves.
Or they don't believe they can.
Or they don't believe they can, or they want the easy way through it. And for me, it's really recognizing the talent and the skill that I have.
You are a top-notch curator of putting people together and networking in a way that made me actually not hate networking. Because I only saw networking as a way where it's like so transactional. And because of the way you do it, I can see how vultures could circle.
Yes.
But now you know that. Now you know that because of how you do things, because there's a depth to it and people trust you. That's what we talked about. Because I was trying to remember some of our conversations, but like we were both going through it during them. So then I forget parts of the conversation. They go after people who have built up trust in their communities.
Yes.
Same in like with financial scammers, like they go into country clubs or women's bridge groups, where there's a built up type of trust. So then they have I'm a friend of the family. Same with, quite frankly, pedophiles, right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
how they get in the door, is they want to actually, it's not necessarily just the clout. They're after the fucking trust that you've built up.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a vampire.
Absolutely it is. Yeah.
And before this, I don't really think I put the pieces together of how valuable it was, that trust. I know that it's valuable, like in sales, of course, when you can have trust with a client, it's very valuable, but I didn't realize that someone could hook on to me and then feed into that trust.
Right. Like, and leverage your built up trust. Well, because number one, you wouldn't do that. You don't think that way. But here's how, and I want to give this example. I think it's important for people to hear another example of this, because I know there's people listening who are probably having this happen to them right now under your nose and you don't realize it. People will do a lot of things to try to get on my show. By me having someone on the show, even though, listen, like I can only find out so much, like do a background check, right? Like I don't, right, that just because you're on my show, I don't vouch for you, but it does give the illusion that I do, right? Same with you following someone on social media.
Yep.
You're saying, hey, Tiffany follows this person, and I trust Tiffany. Arin had this person speak at her event. This person has got to like have a good reputation and be solid. It's not our responsibility that someone else has filled in those blanks. But on the other hand, there is some responsibility. So I take down episodes.
Yes.
Now I do.
Yes.
Zero fucks. I will take it down and I have to unfollow. I didn't like the unfollow. It felt like childish to me, but I realized my responsibility. I have to unfollow because by me saying followed to someone publicly, someone who's unwell or a vampire, like you say, can use that.
Yes.
They can say, I know you've experienced this in network marketing. Oh, well, Erin's a good friend of mine. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
You're like, bitch, I've never even talked to you on the phone.
Yes, yes. And I think it's important for people to know, if you're building a business, your clients and your potential customers and potential business partners are going and checking these things out. They're looking to see who you follow. They're looking to see who you're commenting on. And
that's a great point.
I think it can be, so this comes into the realm of networking, is collaboration is a great way to build your brand. But if you collaborate willy-nilly and you don't really vet the person, you could hurt yourself and your brand beyond repair. So it's picking those collaborations very carefully. One of the things I learned from this experience is whether or not I'm consenting to it, my relationship with people as it's perceived by the public is creating trust. They're borrowing the trust that I've cultivated. And I didn't really get that before.
I didn't either. And it makes sense though, because then in these side conversations behind the scenes where you're not present, someone can go deep with it. Oh, I've known Arin for years. And they're bending the truth. Maybe they've followed you on Instagram for years.
They think they know me.
Or like they know of you. Or, it's like you can really mess around with that. And it's interesting. I'll have people DM me and go, I was thinking of hiring this person for website design. And they say that they've worked with you for years. And I mean, that's smart that person does that. And I'll go, I have no idea who this person is. Oh, well, you follow them. And I go, I got to tell you, I don't know who they are. Sometimes I've followed people. It's been years ago because I liked a couple like videos they did or something. So we have to be more mindful and discerning, but without being also paranoid at the same time, and keep our hearts open.
But it's easy. That's an easy thing to make a phone call and say, hey, I'm thinking of working with this person. They said they worked with you. It looks like you're following them. Can you give me a few words about, it's just like if you hire someone, you're going to follow up with their references. We should absolutely do the same in business and collaboration and, in dating, in friendships. I think we are living in a world that is forgetting how to connect in real life. And so we're losing some of that. We go and we look at, who's she following? Who's she liking? Instead of just picking up the phone and being like, hey, kid, have you ever worked with so-and-so? Do you know so-and-so? And like having a real life conversation where we connect with people. Too many assumptions can be made because of social media and what social media is in real life too. Social media just is an extension of your social social life. And so even when you're in a in-person community, the same dynamics can play. Like, oh, you were at their event, or you were in a picture with them at the networking event. You must be really good friends. And it's like, no, we got to slow down and be more intentional about our relationships.
I love this advice. I really hope you guys enjoyed this level of conversation and that you realize that you're not alone in feeling alone. You're not alone in having wildness happen and betrayal after betrayal, and that there's some stuff to look at, if there's patterns within yourself, not to blame yourself, but to connect the dots back to childhood of there's something familiar about the recreation of abandonment or people stealing from you or people rejecting you. And there's some work to be done there for yourself. And sometimes that's the reason why it's happening, is to unveil, hey, you've got like a sore spot here. You got some work to do. Well, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do any more work. Thank you.
Oh,
I need a reprieve.
I mean, that's like, this is a whole nother subject, another podcast, but it's kind of like the shadow side of manifesting. When you put it out to call in your next level of income, your next level of influence, if you have cobwebs that haven't been cleaned out, it certainly is going to get cleaned out. Otherwise, you won't be able to attract that thing that you're calling in. And so I'm always a little like, am I ready to ask for this next level? And I know that's part of what this is, because I was asking for the next level. I've been asking for the up level. What is next? Let me serve more. Let me have a greater influence. Let me have more purpose and more joy in my life. And the universe or God or whatever it is was like, oh, okay, let's go.
You're being primed. And being primed doesn't mean that it's pretty.
No.
Because imagine if what occurred happened on a bigger scale.
Oh.
Your community had thousands or even tens of thousands. You had arenas of people. And then this happened. Oh my Lord.
I'm so grateful that it happened at this level.
It's not good it happened, but it happened it was contained. It wasn't like you're on the news and shit. Like, it's like you went viral, like there was a containment so that you could learn this and create these boundaries to prepare you of what's to come. Because the more visible you are, it comes with this. This is part of it. That whole price of fame, it's actually fucking true.
That's true.
And the people who are prepared for it, like grounded in it, which we've seen some celebrities who can handle it. It's a smaller percentage. And then we've seen the ones that like go off the deep end.
But you need, just to reiterate, you need a support system that either you're paying for, like you're in a mastermind or you're in something like the Posse, or you need a friend or a group of friends that really has your back. I cannot personally go to the next level that I want to go to if I'm not really supported by a group of people that understand and want to champion me. It's absolutely not possible. It's like trying to go on a road trip without having any wheels on your car. It's just not going to work.
I agree. And I know that's why I had a clean house. That's why I created the Posse, was I knew that was missing. That's why I'm in other group programs myself. You don't have that support thinking you can go about this alone, going on a road trip with like 3 wheels instead of 4. You ain't going to get very far. And it's a lie if you tell yourself, I personally enjoy a combination of paid and unpaid support.
Yes.
Because then I'm not leaning too much on the unpaid people, right? Kind of almost like you have a therapist. You pay a therapist, right? It's like you're not leaning it all on your husband, right? Yeah. And I like having the combination of both. If I don't have the combination of both, the wheels do fall off the car.
Yes. And it's good to have someone in your life who will absolutely tell you the truth no matter what.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who won't, because it's scary to them. They don't want to have that reaction. It's not worth it to them. And I know you're that type of friend. I'm the type of person where, as a coach, as a leader, as a friend, if I'm asked, I will tell you the truth with compassion
It's
because I
really
think
important.
anything else is bullshit.
Yeah, I really appreciate that in my friends. I like that. That's one of my favorite qualities in a friend is if someone just tells me the truth. My anxiety can deal with that so much better than kind of tiptoeing around it. You really have to curate the people in your life and the support that you have in your life. And then be aware, because this kind of thing can even happen when you go to a mastermind or a bigger conference. You can easily run into very charismatic, narcissistic people and get all like hyped up on the hopium that happens at that event and get into difficult situations. You can also meet people that absolutely change your life and it's beautiful. But I think we need to have a little more discernment in these spaces where people are coming and kind of preying on the person who wants to go build something that thinks they don't know how to go build it.
Or the person who feels like the lone wolf, which is more of me. It's like, I know how to build it. I can have the lone wolf wound since, I have no family members. And so those people like playing that family card. They play the like, I'll be your biggest supporter, cheerleader while you build it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you've never had that before, of course, it's going to feel really good.
Yeah. But now I am going to, since this conversation, I want each of us to end like on a commitment that we state publicly, because I think this will help other people make a commitment as well to yourself, or if you want to DM it to me, just so like you feel like you've sent it to someone, you can DM it to me at ProjectME with Tiffany. And my commitment is that when I get that familial feeling from somebody who's relatively a stranger, that I'm not saying like automatically no, I'm out, but that I look at it like this is a very bright yellow flag and I need to treat it as such.
My commitment is when I meet someone that makes me feel like I'm not such a weirdo. You know what it is, Tiffany? It's when it's like a drinking buddy, but for me, it's workaholism. It's when someone cheers me on or celebrates my workaholic tendencies. That's what it
Ooh.
is.
So is
That's
that going
what
to
I
be
liked
like a
about her.
yellow flag to you if someone's like really going deep with that?
Yep. I do not need someone in my life handing me a drink, and my drink is work.
No, we no. Oh my God, thank God we don't do that to each other. That would be bad.
No, no. That's exactly what happened in this situation. Is it
Oh,
was
that would not be good for me. I might actually like not be here.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I like this. These commitments are solid. And you guys take a screenshot of this episode, share it on social media, tag me at Project Me with Tiffany. I'll make sure I tag Arin so that you have her information. You can also swipe up in the show notes and connect with her on Instagram or Facebook. I've put that in the show notes for you as well. Go over, say hi, let her know how you felt about the episode, and let's start, making a point of intentionally connecting with genuine good people. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Bye.